It's time to take a TO with coaches Turner and O'Neill. Produced by Kurtis Cross and engineered by DJ Krissy.
It's time to take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Your new favorite podcast features conversation from the world of high school, college, and pro sports, along with other riveting content. Connect with us on Facebook and Instagram at Turner O'Neill Podcast and on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, or visit www.turnerando'neill.com. Listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, and more than 15 podcast platforms. We also invite you into the studio each week via YouTube. Subscribe and watch each episode on our YouTube channel at Turner O'Neill Podcast. Thanks to our premier partner, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage, our partners, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, Insurance Alliance Group, LLC, and Marquise Evans with Keller Williams Capital Properties. Our sponsors, O'Neill Development, LLC, Next Level Lacrosse, A Squared Home and Office Solutions, Collins Funeral Home, and Peace Players International. And our donors, Winsight Media and Gene the Barber with Max Life Barber and Salon. Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is produced by Kurtis Cross and engineered by me, DJ Krissy. Now we welcome you to today's episode as we take a TO with coaches Steve Turner and Casey O'Neill. Here's your host, Kurtis Cross.
Welcome to Season 3, Episode 10 of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. I am Kurtis Cross, your host. I'm joined, as always, by Coach Steve Turner, who hasn't always had that USA above his head. That's a new decoration since the last time we were at home, sir. And Casey O'Neill, and of course, our engineer is DJ Krissy. We thank you for listening and watching. We are each at home today, so it's TO, the Home Edition. Our premier sponsor for Season 3 is Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Ray is a friend of the program and is the only mortgage lender we endorse right here at Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Ray Cruz is mortgage intelligently. We'd like to thank our partners, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, and Marquise Evans with Keller Williams Capital Properties. If you would like to become a partner, sponsor, donor, or friend of the program, simply look in the show notes of any Season 3 episode. Before we get into today's episode, gentlemen, how was your week? Coach Turner, you jump off for us.
Well, busy weekend. Friday, got to hang out with the little brother, playing some golf, which is why I think I'm feeling the way I feel today.
All right.
Body's worn out. Like, you don't do something for such a long time and then you go all in on it. Like muscles that you haven't used.
Right.
I feel like my whole immune system just broke down.
Oh, man.
Like, and then I'm just running. So, Saturday morning, open gym, get the guys down on I Street, hooping a little bit, and that was good. But shit, came home, slept. Watched a lot of college football.
Oh, yeah.
Then Sunday morning, J-Rock got to do a photo/video shoot for Under Armour.
Okay, excellent.
So we were up in Baltimore, like wee hour of the morning. They were out in the Druid Hill Park. So
right.
Hoop out there. And some guys from his DC Premier AAU team, as well as Baltimore's Team Thrill team, they got to be a part of, like, I guess one of the next commercials in print ads for Under Armour.
Excellent.
So getting up, I guess, that early, like, you feel like you're just on the run. But did make it worth my while. Came back home. On the way back home, snatched up some crab cake sandwiches for the fam.
All right.
From a good old Timbuktu.
Right.
And then watched some NFL games and crashed again.
These Saturdays and Sundays, you can do that, huh? College football, then NFL football.
But then today, man, I was at school. I was hurt at work. That's the best way to describe it. and I wasn't hungover, so that makes it even worse.
But it took you back about 25 years to those days, right?
Yeah. And but I'm here, Mental Health Monday, with the crew.
All right.
A little medicine ball from Starbucks, and I'm gonna find a way to make it through the night.
All right. Coach O'Neill, talk to me about your weekend. Well, we know where you were Sunday. You were getting a suntan on Sunday.
I was, but I'll dive into that a little bit in the one headline about how that went for me. And I actually had a big surprise, and I will dive into that in the one headline. But look, I had a great week. I got to play golf with my good buddy, Coach Turner, in our Carmody Open. We played pretty good, Steve. I was proud of the squad and the scramble, and we had a nice kind of the English or Irish or Scottish style of play. There was a little bit of mist up there in the kind of, what is that, Urbana area, Coach Turner? Was that where we were?
Yeah, up in Urbana.
But a beautiful day nonetheless on the golf course with my good buddy Steve, and had a great time and had a great weekend. A lot of soccer for my two girls. Watched some soccer, got to watch them play, and saw some family. Had a good time. And today I caught up with an old friend of mine from college who just published a book. I'm going to give him a shout out. It's called Larger Than Yourself. He's trying to get this book out there. He wants this to be on the New York Times bestseller. His name is Thibaut Manikin. He's one of the greatest guys that you'll ever meet. And so catching up with him, I haven't talked to him in a long time. He was in Brazil with his wife and children for about 1.5 years. And so shout out to his book. Look it up. But I'm ready.
Larger Than Yourself.
Larger Than Yourself. Essentially, he interviews and talks to people that do any type of work, but it's trying to grow movements. It's trying to lead with purpose and reimagine industries and organizations and programs. And he's been working on this thing for about a decade, and really interesting, really good stuff. But we talked for about an hour today. I hadn't talked to him in a while, so I'm feeling great to maybe we'll have him on the podcast one day when this thing hits the New York Times bestseller.
Why wouldn't we? He's a friend of yours. He's a friend of the program. DJ Krissy, look, I'm going to speak for you for half a second. Both you and I are feeling it because we had gigs all weekend long. Early gigs, late gigs, some gigs, none gigs, a bunch of gigs. So get into your weekend. So I think Casey, you and I might be the only ones who can bring the energy today, but because I know Krissy's worn out too. Krissy?
I got stuck watching Casey do all. That's too much.
All right.
I can't. It was just, a busy weekend, weddings, and, I forgot how much fun hula hoops are.
Oh, boy.
I know that sounds crazy, but I forgot how much fun they are. Just little kids hula hooping around.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put you on the spot, Krissy. How long can you hula hoop for?
She didn't say she did it.
You know how you spin it to get it started?
That's
and
about
then
it.
And you're supposed to keep it going.
Yeah.
It kind of falls after that.
To keep it going part's not you, Krissy?
No, spin it, yes. Keep it going, not so much.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to throw Cole under the bus. And when he was little, he was at a camp and they had a hula hoop contest. And
right.
I don't know if I'm going to get the number right or not, but he hula hooped for close to 45 minutes straight.
No, I'm not going to believe that. Are you serious?
Yeah, and ended up winning the competition. He hula hooped for so long that on his hips he had bruises from the hula hoop.
Come on, man.
Bruises. He is going to listen to this and not forgive me. So sorry, buddy.
So I hope he's not listening in a dorm with some friends.
Right. Sorry.
I have never heard of such a thing.
Oh, man. All right, Krissy, so you hula hoop with some kids. You did some weddings and anything else?
And on Sunday we rested.
Sunday we rested. Even Krissy gets the rest, right?
One day a week.
All right.
Just relax. Go to the grocery store. That's about it.
All right. Well, my week was great. The highlights included the Skins and the Bills did win. We had a couple of weddings this weekend, and this week is off to a running start already. So here we go. Coach Turner, you texted me yesterday. I told you I was at a show. You going to ask me what show I was at?
What show was it?
Big G in the Backyard Band, baby.
Oh, wow.
I finally got out to see a show.
What?
Where was it?
It was at Bethesda Jazz and Blues. There was only, honestly, first of all, that place only fits maybe 500 people, but you have to show your vaccination card, which, of course, I had Paula laminate and make sure. And they don't want a negative test. They want your vax card. So I laminated mine, so I'm good to go. So I have to show it to them. They take your temperature. You can go in. There were like 150 people. That's it. I was in heaven. Now, Paul and I had a table. We had table 7. Tables 8 and 9 were unoccupied. So the picture I sent you, Steve, was our vantage point. we flanked the stage. There was only us up there, the two of us up there in that whole section. I was good with it.
Wow.
All right. So anyway,
he's taking over.
That was my weekend. I haven't seen Backyard in 25 years. I saw him at the Ibex Club in 96. That's the last time I saw him, Steve.
Why you ain't invite nobody?
And you know what? There was an extra ticket too, because my boy Keenan could not go. He said, "Whoever you know who wants it can have that ticket." Steve, your tail was worn out.
Hey man, I'd have found some energy for back.
So I saw them, and that was my weekend. Awesome. Yes, let's hit our first break, and we'll be back with this week's headline. Kurt Cross here, producer of Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill. For more than 20 years, I have seen Gene the Barber for my haircuts. I am proud to say that Gene the Barber is now the owner of a new shop, his own shop, Max Life Barber and Salon. Max Life is family friendly with barbers and stylists for men, women, and children. Located at 6859 New Hampshire Avenue in Tacoma Park, Maryland, Max Life Barber and Salon is now the new home of Gene the Barber. Of course, you'll get Gene's signature service, but now Gene has several barbers to choose from. Schedule an appointment today by calling 240-687-7253 and tell Gene that the Take It to Yo team sent you.
Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill can be found on more than 15 podcast platforms. Listen to us on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Spotify, and other podcast platforms. Tune in on your preferred podcast platform. Be sure to listen, subscribe, and spread the word. Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill records weekly with episode drops each Thursday at 11 a.m.
One Headline is brought to you by
Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. With a stellar reputation as an outstanding mortgage lender, Ray Cruz serves the lending needs of real estate professionals, builders, and individual homebuyers in Maryland, Washington, D.C., Virginia, Texas, California, Florida, Illinois, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Ray believes that integrity is the cornerstone of his business, and helping you achieve your home financing goals is his business. Located in the heart of Bethesda, Maryland, contact Ray P. Cruz today to get started. Your home mortgage or refinance options await. Call 301-761-2278 or visit raypcruz.com. Ray P. Cruz, mortgages intelligently.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill. Welcome back to Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill. Today's episode is brought to you by Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. I don't know if I told you guys, I did apply for credentials for the PLL Championship this week, and they did write back last week and said, due to the number of requests and limited space, they had to decline. My goal is to be on the sideline or be there with press credentials one day. But this week's headlines, the Whip Snakes go down to the chaos in the PLL Championship. Now, Coach O'Neill had a firsthand look at the action as he was in attendance at Audi Field for yesterday's final. Here's my headline. Zed Williams and Matt Rambo were neutralized with 0 goals. Now, Zed accounts for about 20% of the Whip Snakes offense, Rambo another 10%. How did the chaos find a way to wipe away 30% of the Whip Snakes offense en route to the PLL crown? And before you answer, because Casey, you're up first, I think Rambo or Williams, they had like 10 goals in the first 2 rounds of the PLL, playoffs. So what changed yesterday?
I mean, that is a shocking stat right there. Yeah. Completely shocking because, I mean, if you remember last year in the championship, Zed Williams was unstoppable. And Matt Rambo is Mr. Clutch himself in his short pro career and then his college career, things he did at the University of Maryland and winning first national championship for that college program in what felt like forever. So, look, it was shocking to me. But make no mistake, this chaos defense, and I'm going to rock a few names out here. Johnny Surdick, who's a DeMatha alum, went to United States Military Academy, so he's a West Point guy, is a total stud. Jared Newman, this long stick midfielder for the chaos is, I mean, if you saw this guy up front in person, you'd think he was a small forward for like the Heat,
the Phoenix Suns,
the Lakers or something. Yeah, I mean, a total stud. Jack Rowlett, another local guy as well. I mean, these are all world level type of defensive guys, but it starts with their coaches, Towers and a guy named Ryan Kurtis, who's their defensive coordinator. Those guys, look, they had 2 weeks to prepare for this, to shut those guys down, and they did that. And then they've got the MVP of the league in the goal, this guy Blaze Riordan. So Kurtis, one of my dreams, one of my bucket list things now is for you to see the PLL live and in person, because it is like nothing you've ever seen, how good and fast and talented these players are. The Audi field was rocking. There was a great crowd. There was just a lot of energy. It was so
How about
cool.
that weather?
The weather was amazing. The Nats game's going on around the street, and Paul Rabil and his crew did an amazing job, and everything they've done. I got to give a shout out to my coaching staff, and here's why.
I saw a photo.
I went down there with Erica and a friend of mine, one of my assistant coaches, his wife. We've been friends forever, and just thought it was the four of us going. And I said, where are we? We're going upstairs. I'm like, oh, where are these seats? And he goes into a suite, opens the door, and the whole staff was there and surprised me. I had no idea, zero idea. So they got together, pulled some strings, did some things. And so we enjoyed that game from the luxury suite in the kind of the end zone. And it really just, hit me right there in the heart. Just that.
Did Erica know?
Oh yeah. She knew. She was,
okay.
This was like weeks in advance. Like they had this surprise going, and I was, very touched to have a little celebration with them and then watch some great lacrosse and just have a beautiful day. So
you might have been teary-eyed, you little sucker, you.
Well, I didn't know if they wanted me to give a toast or anything or say some words. I just, told them I loved them all, and they have no idea how much they mean to me, and that this isn't goodbye. It's just just for the time being. So it was cool.
You old softy. You had a tear in your eye. Admit it.
A bit later on, maybe, later on. You trying to get me to break down right here on the show?
I'm trying to do a TNO first. I want you to break down.
Hey,
Coach, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Casey.
Did you watch at the end of and I'm not going to break down, but did you watch at the end of the championship when all the confetti and everything was going on? Those jokers had the Bud Lights out quickly. They had the Barstool Sports vodka out in the trophy. I mean, they were getting after it right away.
I didn't catch it that long because I wanted to go. We were watching the Bills, and Paula let me watch, little spots of the PLL Championship, and I got to watch the final. I got to watch the power play, the empty netter, all that, and trying for 2-point goals and all that. And you know why the Whipsnakes lost? They got the ugliest turquoise helmets I ever seen in my life, man. Good Lord, them things is ugly. I mean, at least with the Dolphins, it's a little swoosh or something. The whole damn glossy thing is turquoise. I can't stand it.
It ain't too pretty, but
right.
The
kids were watching. Me and Paula were watching while she was doing some schoolwork. Coach Turner, were you able to catch any? You were in Baltimore. Were you able to catch any of it?
I caught just glimpses, but I said a close game is what I said last week. I didn't think it'd be that much of a distance.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to say that, like, chaos, man. Defense wins championships, dude. And when you throw those stats out that you just threw out, Kurtis, with those two studs not scoring
at all
and them equating for 30% most of the time of the offense, and there's the difference in the game. I mean, I was ready to ask Casey what his thoughts were on what was the difference, but when you throw those numbers out, I didn't even pay attention to that in knowing who won.
They shout out real quick to the face-off circle too. I mean, the chaos was dominating that aspect of it. They controlled the ball. They took quality shots. Defense or offense wins games. Defense wins championships. They were relentless on those guys, causing turnovers. Just being the Energizer bunnies all game long. And you could tell the team that just was a little bit just deeper and a little bit more hungry. Not that the Whipsnakes were taking it for granted. They just hit them from the first whistle. And the last point I'm going to make to you guys and to everyone listening, to grow up with this sport, to love this sport, to coach this sport for so long and continue to coach it, it's a sight to be seen when you're walking down South Capitol Street and you see thousands and thousands of people, right, from all walks of life walking down there with little kids with lacrosse sticks in their hands, little fiddlesticks, and people tailgating and going in there, not for a college NCAA Final Four, but for a professional game. It is remarkable. And we've talked about Kyle Harrison, Paul Rabil, and all the people that, we mentioned in this sport of lacrosse. They're doing something special when you see that and walking through those streets and heading to a championship game. It was really, really cool. So kudos to the PLL.
And kudos to the Chaos. They took away 30% of the Whipsnakes offense. They are your PLL champions. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your one headline. O'Neill Development is a custom builder in Maryland, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and the Eastern Shore. Recognized nationally as a premier builder, O'Neill Development has received awards for historic restoration and urban infill work. Committed to best practices in green building, O'Neill Development also provides support in budgeting, architect selection, and design development during the critical stages of planning. O'Neill Development, building, remodeling, and development since 1975. Find us at www.o'neilldev.com or call 301-840-9310.
Connect with us socially on Instagram and Facebook at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, on YouTube, just search Turner and O'Neill, then subscribe. And of course, you can visit our website at www.turnerando'neill.com.
Winsight Media delivers connections and intelligence to form the fastest growing verticals: convenience retailing, grocery businesses, restaurants, and non-commercial food service through broad and cutting-edge platforms. No company is better positioned to meet the food industry's needs than Winsight. Connect with us at www.winsightmedia.com.
The Starting Five is brought to you by...
From Washington, D.C. to Ocean City, Woodbridge to Columbia, Richmond to Virginia Beach, the hottest DJs are right here. The Mid-Atlantic Professional DJ Association.
Dynamic DJ Entertainment, the most experienced professional DJ service in the DMV. For 35 years, our DJ talent has been the energy behind more than 14,000 events. If you're planning your wedding, school dance, corporate event, Sweet 16, or any event, our talented team has the right mix of music and MC skills to bring the energy and turn any event into an epic event. In 35 years, our DJs have performed in front of more than 2 million guests in 26 states. Our services include dynamic DJ talent, karaoke, giant games, atmospheric effects, movie nights, and more. Contact us today and let's make your next event an epic event. Dynamic DJ Entertainment. Visit thepartybeginsnow.com or call 301-942-4500 to get the party started.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It to You with Turner and O'Neill. The Starting Five. Welcome back to Take It to You with Turner and O'Neill. The Starting Five is brought to you by Dynamic DJ Entertainment. I am your host, Kurtis Cross. I'm with Coach Steve Turner, Casey O'Neill. Our engineer for this and every episode is DJ Krissy. We are up to our weekly Starting Five. We are TNO at home. 5 questions I'll ask of each coach. They have 30 seconds each to answer these questions. They can defer one question, and if they go over their 30 seconds, DJ Krissy, what will happen? She brought it back for you. You guys been asking for it. She brought it back. All right. Let's go for it, gentlemen. Coach Turner, most underrated athlete in your opinion?
Athlete?
Yes, athlete. Who doesn't get their just due?
Damn, man, it's too many sports for that.
Give me a few.
You know what, as crazy as this may sound, I still don't think Lamar Jackson gets the credit he deserves.
I was just thinking that name for some reason.
Like we can talk about like him as an athlete. Yes, we know he's unbelievable. You watch some of the stuff he did the other night. And I know we're going to get into him a little bit more in the next segment, but I just don't think he gets the love he deserves.
Okay. All right, Casey, you can agree or you can go a different direction.
I'm going to go in a different direction. It just hit me that I think to the general public that a lot of the golfers on the PGA Tour, men and women, are underrated for the type of athletes that they are, because it's, between the ears. And I can't really think of one in particular, because everyone knows Tiger Woods is incredible, but somebody like Phil Mickelson to the eye might not look like this athletic beast, but like, I think they're underrated as athletes. And I'll take it a step further. I think, and I'm about to get the buzzer, that NASCAR drivers and other of that type of sport are underrated as athletes.
What about John Daly? You don't think he's underrated? He's got the athlete body, doesn't he?
He ain't underrated on making a good drink. That's for sure.
That's for sure. Or smoking cigarettes on the course.
He was hanging out with Chris Lykes them this past weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's right, because he's a Razorback.
He's a Razorback.
All right. Coach O'Neill, pause one weather season. Which season are we living in?
Pause one. Oh, man. Ugh. People are going to get mad at me for this, but just the dead of summer and that heat and humidity in DC. Oof. See ya. Oh, you mean the best one?
I mean, do you not understand English? Pause one season. Which one are we going to live in? Wow. Krissy is there. She's getting you because you're not in the studio. That's why she's getting you.
I mean, I thought you meant by pause, just like get it out of here.
Right. No, I you know what? I see how you can say that. I'm sorry. No. Okay. You want to stay in one season. What season is that?
I think I want to stay in the fall. I love the fall.
And what you said about pausing the heat and humidity, that might come up later. Coach Turner.
Oh, I'm staying in the fall.
I'm staying in the fall. Where are you staying, Chris?
I would say spring.
She wants that spring. No, I'm staying in the fall. You know what? The colors of fall?
I want flowers.
Okay. I got you. They're similar, but she wants the flowers. So how about this, Coach O'Neill? You know what? When you're far away from me, you must be reading my mind. So here we go. I'm going to go back to you, even though I'm supposed to go to Coach Turner. Get rid of DC traffic or DC humidity? That's the next question.
Wow. I'm going to go with the humidity, because when that humidity is gone and I'm sitting in the car and it's a nice breeze and everything's going on, I'm
top
listening
open
to, backyard on the radio or junkyard or whoever it is, man. I'm going to put the windows down and just deal with the traffic, man.
Coach Turner, you want to pause that humidity? Or you want to pause that traffic?
I can deal with the traffic. That humidity has got to go.
All right, we're coming back to you, Coach Turner. Oh, this is for both of you. You get a guess. These are 3 truths and 1 lie about me. So you have to figure out which one is the lie.
Oh, baby.
I've been on stage with Morris Day. I've seen Madonna in concert. I've been to Prince's home. Or I've directed a limo to take me through the Carl's Jr. drive-thru. Which one is the lie? So I've been on stage with Morris Day. I've seen Madonna in concert. I've been to Prince's home in Minneapolis. Or I've directed a limo to take me through the Carl's Jr. drive-thru. Which one, Steve, is the lie?
You're in this industry, so that's a tough one, but I'm going to go with Prince's home.
So I have not been to Prince's home. Coach O'Neill.
Okay. Morris Day is, I'm going to say you did that. Madonna, check. Your boy up there in the Minnesota area calling those Timberwolf games, I think, where our man Prince is from, up there in Minnesota, that you did do that. I'm going to say the limo drive is false.
I was at Bethesda Jazz and Blues a few years ago. A guy came up to me and said, his security said, "You want to go on stage with Morris?" I said, "Hell yeah. I've been on stage with Morris Day." I have never seen Madonna in concert. That's the one. I've never seen her in concert. I went to Prince's home. Thank you. Sean Parker, the voice of the Timberwolves, took me there. And the first thing I did one time when I had a limo and I touched down in Vegas was take me to Carl's Jr. I definitely did that.
Well, we got it wrong, so we deserve the...
Oh, hit it, Krissy. They deserve it. All right, Steve, you're rapid fire. Something you accomplished this week that you're proud of.
Ooh. This week?
Yes.
How about that 20-foot putt you drained on the 12th?
I'll definitely take that.
All right. Movie theater or stream at home?
Stream at home.
Name a sport, if any, that you'd rather listen to on the radio.
Baseball.
Yes, that's the only way to do it, right? I mean, seriously, that you're right on that one. One streaming platform, Choose it. You're going to do Netflix, you're going to do Tubi, you're going to do Amazon Prime. Which one if you can only keep one?
I'm going to stay rocking with Netflix.
All right. $10,000 to spend on a piece of jewelry for yourself. What would it be? You want to get some big studs in your ears?
Nah. Be a nice chain with a nice cross.
All right. Oh, I love it. I love it. Coach Casey O'Neill, dream concert lineup. 4 artists or 4 bands? Give me your 4. It could be a combination or whatever, but it's the dream concert lineup. And you can't say Heart, Backstreet Boys, Air Supply, and Journey.
Okay. Well, I wasn't thinking of any of those. It's going to be my boy I've mentioned many times. It's going to be Eric Church.
Right.
It's going to be Fleetwood Mac. It's going to be probably the Rolling Stones.
Okay.
And last but not least, I saw these guys in concert at the Fillmore in Silver Spring a few years ago, and it blew my mind. It is the Roots.
Come on, you know you going to Air Supply. Don't lie. You going to Air Supply.
No, or you mean like Winger or like White Snake or something
exactly,
like that?
Exactly.
Come on, man.
What sport would you want to officiate in the championship game?
Ain't going to be lacrosse because I know those parents and those fans, and I ain't dealing with that. So I would say I'd like – or hockey. Man, I couldn't mess with that. I probably want to be probably – oh, man.
I was thinking
I want to be one of those judges at like the golf course that comes in and like judges the ruling. So I'll be one of those.
Okay. Fans. All right, cool. Which award show would you want to have front row seats to? The Oscars, Emmys, Grammys, or MTV Music Awards?
Oh my goodness. I'll go Oscars.
All right. Your golf game or your fishing game? Which one is better?
Probably my golf game.
Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, sorry.
No. You're good. Golf game.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is your starting 5. The starting 5. A-Squared Home and Office Solutions is the go-to source for home or office network and audio-visual solutions. We can help with smart home integration, wireless networking, media rooms, security systems, and more. We will link technology to your lifestyle seamlessly. Read our reviews online. Visit homeandofficesolutions.com for more info or call 240-356-8832. A-Squared Home and Office Solutions. We are home advisor, screened, and approved.
Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill would like to thank our friends of the program: Thomas Alford, Melissa Alshab, Margie Billings, Adam Cross, Chelsea Cross, Paula Cross, Lynn Johnson, Erica O'Neill, Sean Parker, Kathleen Talbot, Andrea Tarones, Timothy Whittier. If you'd like to become a friend of the program, go to www.turnerando'neill.com and click Become a Friend. Collins Funeral Home has served families of Greater Washington with compassion and kindness since 1939. Our friends John and Terry McHugh carry on this family tradition into the 3rd generation. The McHugh brothers, along with their experienced funeral directors and caring staff, are ready to assist you at any time. Whether you have experienced a loss, need to make plans in advance, or simply have a question, please contact them to discuss how they can assist at your time of need. Visit collinsfuneralhome.com or call 301-593-9500.
This segment of Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by World Class Training, locations in Rockville, Maryland and Alexandria, Virginia. Performance training and physical therapy. That's what you'll find at Healthy Baller. Hi, this is Kurt Cross, producer of Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill. Paula and I have our 13 and 11-year-old children training with the wonderful crew at Healthy Baller Rockville. Healthy Baller has created a customized training experience for our kids, and we are super pleased with the results. Their excellent training and dedication to each athlete is apparent from your first consultation through the ongoing training sessions. Paula and I can personally attest to the results. Become your own success story. They offer group and team training, individual workouts, or semi-private training in Rockville and Alexandria. Call 844-622-5537 or visit healthyballer.com.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill.
Welcome back to Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill. This segment's partner is Healthy Baller. You may have realized that before we went to commercial, I asked Krissy if she's going to hit the button. There was a delay. That is because I skipped one of our starting five. She thought I was going to get back to it because she assumed that I'm good enough to catch my own mistake, which I'm not, but she caught it. So Coach Casey O'Neill, we owe you. Krissy, can you hit the button on me? Hit the button on me because I screwed up. So hit the button. I'll say, you know what? I only want you to hit the button because Steve has the facial effects behind it. So I will tell on myself. Healthy Baller right there. That's our segment sponsor right there, guys. Healthy Baller. All right, Coach Casey, have you ever crashed a party? That was question number 2.
Of course, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, how many times is the big question where I've just kind of shown up and crashed
blended in?
Not as much recently, as maybe I used to in college or high school or things like that. But of course.
My question to that is, in high school and college, how many times did you get kicked out?
A counter question.
Not enough.
Not enough. There was a party or two where maybe he shouldn't have been there. All right, welcome back to Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill. I made a mistake. Everyone's gotten the womp except for Krissy. She's across the table, so I can't reach the board. She is in safe hands. Let's get into this week in sports. We have an announcement to make. The people need to know this. Am I right, Coach Casey? The people need to know this. Steve, do the people need to know this?
Yes, sir.
Joey T is back this week.
Let's go.
Joey T is back. We will have him on the show. Matter of fact, you're going to hear him later in this episode. You guys have been waiting. I will tell you, non-COVID related, his daughters were sick, so the whole house was sick. They were quarantining just to be sure. He didn't even want to be on the mic. He didn't go to work. So he is back with us this week. You'll hear him later in this episode. You will get your fantasy football nuggets. Now, Buffalo corrected the ship, and boy, did they. They put Tua on the ground, and Tua couldn't play. They dropped 35 on the Dolphins, and that defense held up. Any thoughts, gentlemen?
They're crushing Tua all over the Miami boards. They said he's soft.
Ooh.
They said they're like, did he quit on the team?
Oh, wow. It's that serious right now.
Yeah.
Look,
Okay.
I think
because the X-rays came back negative on his ribs, so people are saying like, is he tough enough to play through some tough times? And they're questioning him right now.
Okay, Coach Casey.
I was going to say, I mean, look, Buffalo had a not the best opening act with the Steelers. They should have put those guys away in that first week, especially in the home opener. Miami is that's not good to put up the numbers that they put up, and like Coach T said with Tua. But look, going into this week, and we're about to touch on the Washington football team going up to Buffalo. That's going to be a big house rivalry, correct?
No rivalry. You know what? Because neither one of those teams sign a check and send it to me. So whoever wins, wins.
Whoever wins, wins.
I do see Paula talking some shit.
Oh, she will. She definitely will. You didn't ask about her. You asked about from this side. It's football. I'm good to just be watching.
Yeah.
Sit back in my leather recliner.
Well, and look, third week, I think you're going to find out who are the pretenders and who are the contenders.
Okay.
And, Washington could go up there. That defense could finally start to be as hyped as they're supposed to be. But last year, they weren't playing the same type of teams. I mean, Washington has to play something like they got to go play Buffalo. They still got to play Tampa. They got to play Seattle. They got to play the Raiders. They got to play the Packers. Seahawks. I mean, they have all this coming up in front of them. So you're going to start to see who the pretenders and contenders are. I still think Buffalo is tweaking some things out offensively. I think defensively they're in a good spot, and obviously Josh Allen is a talent, and they haven't seen a quarterback like him in a long time. So, hey, not the best week for the Fish fans, the Dolphin fans down there, but we'll see what happens.
Squish the fish. Now, I just want to know how's Washington going to go to Seattle? And in a separate statement, go play the Seahawks, because you did say that. They're going to play Seattle twice.
Maybe I'm not. Yeah, maybe I'm not as like awake as I thought I was at the beginning of the show.
You look good though, Hollywood. You look good. All right, Washington and the Cowboys got last-second wins. It was exciting for both teams, huh?
Man, it's hell with the Cowboys, but happy as hell for my Skins, man.
Right.
It's always, Casey will tell you, it's always good to be able to walk on the high street and not listen to all the haters.
Right.
These Steeler fans and Cowboy fans. So anytime we can get a W and I can walk in there and not have to hear anybody talk smack, it's a good time.
Well, old boy from the Giants, if he catches that ball, it's a different game, right? I mean, did he not drop one? I mean, it was right there.
He dropped it.
And he had 10, 15 yards on his defender, right?
Yep.
And that's an issue for Washington right now. I mean, they're not getting to the quarterback. Teams have scouted and they get rid of, 2-step, 3-step drops and get rid of the ball. So you're not giving Chase and Montez Sweat time to get to those guys, but they got to do a better job of that. And on the flip side of it with the Cowboys, while I was not happy that they, won the game over the Chargers this past weekend in a pretty entertaining scoring game.
I would agree.
I'm happy for Dak. I'm happy for Dak Prescott that he got a W after all he went through with that injury and the type of competitor and athlete that I truly believe he is. I'm happy he got that win. I'm happy that, I didn't like seeing Jerry Jones celebrating in the owner's box up there, but good for them. It's going to be an entertaining year. But back to Washington, though, I mean, defensively, that scares me a little bit. We're already on our backup quarterback, who is a 6-year journeyman, but he's fun to watch, man. That guy brings energy. And there was a stat that came out about Taylor Heineke today that in the first 3 starts of any quarterback, so he's only started 3 NFL games, he's attempted more passes than any quarterback in NFL history.
Oh, boy.
Attempted more passes. So
the one thing about him too, Casey, is I've noticed the guys on the team, they rally around him.
They like him, yeah.
They like him a lot.
They do. And they want somebody to compete, somebody that just gives them energy and has confidence. And hey, we'll see how it goes, man. But
look, I'm a numbers guy, and there's a 3-way tie for first place. But Skins got number 1 because we're 1-0 in the division. So we actually hold it ourselves. Raiders got out the gate 2-0. What are you thinking? Are they for real? You said you were going to find out in week 3, but they look good so far. They beat the Steelers, right? Beat them good.
Chucky's got him going. He's got him rocking. He's got him believing. I think you got a crowd. Look, I think having crowds back in NFL stadiums, whether you agree with it or not,
is a difference.
It's making a big difference. Those Raider fans, whether they were in Oakland or LA, and then now they're in Las Vegas, I mean, that place is loud. It's messing with other offenses. They have some pieces. They're well coached. I still think, they've got a long uphill climb when you got teams like the Chiefs in that division. I still think the Chargers are pretty damn good. And who else is out there in that division?
Denver, right?
The Broncos. Yeah, the Broncos are decent. And that's another thing. They got Bridgewater's playing well out there. So we'll find out what the Raiders are made of.
They better leave Chucky alone.
Falcons, Jets, Jaguars, Vikings, Colts, Giants. Who scratches a win first? I didn't put the Packers in this lineup because the Packers are going to get their win. They're not going to be 0 whatever for very long. Who gets their first win? I'm going to guess that it's going to be the Colts or Falcons, right?
Probably. I was thinking along those lines too. I mean, it's a shame because Minnesota spent a lot of money, not only for your boy, former Washington coach up there.
Number 8, Cousins.
Kirk, yeah. I feel like the Giants are probably due for one as well, depending on the schedule. The Falcons don't look all that good, man. The Eagles went in there and whooped all sorts of tail that first week.
Right.
The Jaguars, look, the two differences, you have these rookie quarterbacks with the Jets and the Jaguars. The Jaguars sold everything so that they could get Trevor Lawrence, and I think they'll give him time, and he'll learn. This poor kid up with the New York Jets
who they got?
They got booed. The kid from BYU. He got booed like you would not believe. And granted, he threw 4 picks.
Oh, well.
Man, it's his second start, and this kid's like 22 years old. I mean, careful what you wish for. They just ran Sam Darnold out of there. They ran whoever else was out of there before. The Jets are, I mean, they're a mess, but that's not how you treat a rookie quarterback. You got to give this kid a little bit of time.
Coach Turner.
I was going to say Falcons, Minnesota, one of those two.
Minnesota's defense is just so porous right now. I mean, they're giving up everything.
I still feel like they're one of them teams. You know how they get on a hype on one night and all kinds of stars align and they're scoring all kinds of different ways. So I'll say them and the Falcons. One of those two is going to be the one to scratch first.
Kirk finds his magic. Well, I'll tell you what, something's going to happen unless we end up in a tie because the Falcons are at the Giants this week coming up.
Zach Wilson, by the way, Jets quarterback, the kid from BYU.
Thank you, sir. Lamar Jackson got over that Kansas City hump last night. Looked good, didn't he?
He made me stay up late, and I wasn't feeling it, but he made me stay up late, man. He, like I said earlier, I just so underrated. I mean, and I just have such a respect for him and how he carries himself. I mean, he's doing an interview last night, and I forget which young lady was doing it.
He said he called her Miss Michelle.
Miss Michelle.
Yes.
Like, man, that's humbling, man. This dude makes millions of dollars. A lot of times the guys in his position, they think they're larger than life. For me, it's so fun to watch is that he has a love for the game and he just plays it because he plays the game. I think he's a guy that you could tell him, we're taking your money. And he wouldn't give a darn. And he would still give you all of who he is. And then just to see him like making plays, like, I don't know, he reminds me of when he runs.
Who's that?
They call him Sweetness.
Oh, not Walter Payton.
When he gets into a hole and he starts juking and cutting, he has some flavor of Walter Payton. I'm not saying don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's Walter, but being able to have grown up and watch Walter Payton play, like there's just resemblance in that. And then for him, man, I'm a relationship guy with my players, and for Coach last night to say what you want to do, right? You know, in those moments, guys, you've coached different people that you trust in them, and you'll go to them and say, like, I'm rocking with you. This is your call, right? I've had that relationship with a lot of guys that I've had the opportunity to coach, and I know that both of you have had those relationships with the young ladies. Kurtis, you've coached, and Casey with the guys you coached across field. Like, that's something special that I think gets lost in the game because we talk about there's so much negativity that gets talked about in sports, but those little things like that, man, he's winning me over. And I'm not a Ravens fan. I don't know that I'll ever be, but I'm definitely a Lamar Jackson fan. He's won me over, and just happy to see him, like you said, get over that hump. That Casey's had a little bit of stranglehold on him, and for him to get it, and I was proud of him.
As a starter, his QBR is 105. When he plays the Chiefs, it's like 70-something. He was 0-5 against the Chiefs, got over that hump. Two things about Lamar Jackson. To echo what you said, Coach Turner, at the end of that interview, he said, "Thank you, Miss Michelle." He was humbled by the interview. And let me tell you why he's underrated, or one thing that tells you he's underrated. He doesn't get the love he deserves. He made me take my iPad to the Backyard Show because I wanted to watch him while I was at the Backyard Show. Yes, I took my iPad to watch that game. Hey, we'll be back after these messages. This is our sports segment, part 1. NFL can take us a long time, so let's get through this. We did, and now let's go to break, and we'll be back. Next Level Lacrosse. Train like a Spartan. Next Level Lacrosse is dedicated to providing a terrific lacrosse experience that is intensely focused on player development and character formation. Players at all levels will improve significantly through professional coaching and carefully designed training programs. We stress proper technique and a tireless work ethic. From beginning programs to rec leagues, travel clubs to summer programs, we develop the young and experienced athletes alike. Next Level Lacrosse has a rich tradition of running the best middle and high school lacrosse leagues in the DMV area. You'll find us at www.nextlevelspartans.com or call 240-497-1460.
We invite your questions, comments, and show ideas. Simply go to www.turnerandoneal.com and click Submit Your Idea.
Take it to you with Turner and O'Neill. We'd like to thank our partners, sponsors, and donors. Our premier partner, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Our partners, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, the Insurance Alliance Group LLC, and Marquise Evans of Keller Williams Capital Properties. Our sponsors, O'Neill Development LLC, Next Level Lacrosse, A2 Home and Office Solutions, Collins Funeral Home, and Peace Players International. And our donors, Winsight Media, and Gene the Barber, now Max Life Barber and Salon.
This segment of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by...
If you're buying or selling your home, start your journey. Your goals plus our expertise equals success. Welcome to Keller Williams Capital Properties. Let us work with you to find and purchase the home of your dreams. Working with us guarantees you the local knowledge and market information you need. We are local experts with a reputation for excellence. We're here to help guide you through every step of the process with expert advice and representation. For more information, contact Marquise Evans at 301-357-5608 or visit www.yourmyagent.com. Keller Williams Capital Properties and Marquise Evans. www.yourmyagent.com.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill.
The 2-minute drill.
Ladies and gentlemen, we promised you would get this guy. You've got this guy. It's been several months, but football is back. And when football is back, Joey T is back. Welcome back to the show, Joey T.
What's good, everybody? How you doing today?
Joey, if you're ready for the 2-minute drill, we're ready for you. I just want to let people know it is not in our practice to get into the season 2 weeks later, but you had some health situations at home, non-COVID related, but you've got twin girls who were a little bit under the weather. You've got a kindergartner who was under the weather, and you're learning that kindergarten morning schedule. I know you are, but you are back with us, Joey T. We want to hear from you about fantasy football, and whatever you got to say, you know what? If you go past 2 minutes, it's okay, Joey. It's your drill. Capitol Grill, Washington, D.C. That's our man, Joey T. right here. Talk to us, Joey.
Thank you. All the girls are happy and healthy now. That kindergarten morning schedule is brutal, especially when you work nights.
Right?
But everybody's doing good. I would like to take a moment to say thank you to you, Kurtis, and your dynamic DJ crew for absolutely crushing my cousin Corlin John's wedding a few months ago. But a special shout out goes to my smart, funny, and beautiful little niece, Chelsea Cross, who brought a level of just shine,
she did
charisma,
some things, huh? Yeah, man.
and elegance too that I know she clearly got from her mother.
Oh.
And that was she was the best part of the wedding, if you ask me. So thank you so much, Chelsea. I appreciate everything.
My man, Joey. All right, Joey. Well, we appreciate the love you're showing us, but this is your 2-minute drill. Talk to me. Look, we've got some football going on. I'm just going to talk about a couple of things real quick. Aaron Rodgers showed that he is Aaron Rodgers, but albeit against the Lions. The Skins got themselves to 1-1. The Cowboys got themselves to 1-1. Jacksonville, the Jets, the Falcons, and the Giants are not looking so great. Talk to me about what you're seeing and what fantasy numbers are happening and where people should be looking.
Well, I got to talk about my Washington football team showing out last Thursday. This Taylor Heineke guy looks like the spark we need. And to be quite honest with you, I just want him to remain under center for the duration of the year. I need a healthy quarterback to stay under center at that position because we have not been able to keep somebody healthy at the quarterback position. But my boys are looking pretty good. It's a little bit up and down. Otherwise, I mean, the reigning Super Bowl champions have come out just firing. They are playing no games.
Right.
And, one of the teams that surprised me the most, Las Vegas Raiders. They are 2-0, and they beat two good football clubs. I mean, from an organizational standpoint, the Ravens and the Steelers are two of the best, in the league. And they came out off the season and crushed them both. So, if you're looking for some fantasy sleepers to start with, I mean, guys that were drafted lower, end of your draft guys, end of their position tiers. We'll start with Derek Carr. He was a guy that was a back-end quarterback. He was drafted in the late rounds. This dude's averaging just over 400 yards a game, 2 touchdowns. He's only thrown 1 interception. But I mean, he's at QB8 right now. So if you drafted him as your QB2, he's probably your quarterback 1 right now. Okay. That's awesome. Another guy that I really like, Damian Harris, the running back from the New England Patriots. He was one of my guys. He was a guy that I got late in all my drafts this year. Actually, I got him in a couple of leagues last year. I found out after the NFL draft that him and Mac Jones, the new New England Patriots quarterback, were like best friends from going back to their time in Alabama. So I had a feeling this dude is going to eat. And he had a costly fumble week 1, but he bounced back with an absolutely man run, a la Marshawn Lynch, this past weekend, scoring a touchdown after breaking like 7 tackles. He's got 162 yards and a touchdown, 3 receptions, 19 yards through the air. He's running back 18, but his usage and just watching the way he runs, he's gonna get better and better throughout the year. Another guy that I've seen with my own 2 eyes, Mike Williams. We have been waiting for this guy to break out for the past 3 years. He just hasn't done it. He finally has started to do it. He massacred my Washington football team week 1. His ability to catch those back shoulder throws from Justin Herbert were nasty. He's got 15 catches for 173 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's the wide receiver 6. And you were probably drafting him in the double-digit rounds in your fantasy draft.
You know what, Joey? I have a question for you. So Lamar Jackson's numbers, he ain't surprising nobody, huh? He's not a sleeper?
No, I can't say that Lamar Jackson's a sleeper, no. They actually finally added a few weapons around him. Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, has actually showed out a little bit this past week. We need their first-round pick, Rashad Bateman, to get healthy and on the field to give him another weapon. But, they've done him a disservice by not giving him enough receivers and pass catchers around him to help his passing game grow.
Well, he got
but
over
his
that,
legs, boy, he will win you a game on his legs.
He got over that Kansas City hump, and he got that 4th and 1. And so, Coach, hell yeah, let's go for it. Talk to me about who's not doing what they're supposed to do right now, Joey.
I would say Tua Tagovailoa is, people drafted him with that expectation of that upside. They thought he was going to do big things. Smart man told me recently that he's a little soft because he couldn't play through that rib injury. Wasn't even a break, This is the NFL. You got to man up sometimes. Another guy, I hate to talk down on an NFC East rival, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about Ezekiel Elliott. He looks like he needs to be taken out the pasture. His backup running back, Tony Pollard, man, just outrushed him, and it looked like the best running back on the field, and hell yeah, the best running back on his team. So if anybody that still believes in Zeke, he'll have some big games, I'm sure, but he is not what he once was. So he is in the rearview mirror.
Okay, all right. What else you want to talk to me about, Joey? Tell the people something they can take with them.
Well, a couple of guys I would monitor a little bit, as far as like pickups and future production. Curtis Samuel, he's the Washington football team wide receiver who's been a little dinged up, a little injured. He's on the IR, so he's going to be gone for at least this week. But now's not a bad time to pick him up and stash him on your bench because we're going to need help in the passing game. Can't just be Terry McLaurin. And he was brought in here and paid big money to produce. Another guy, Quintez Cephas, second-year wide receiver from the Detroit Lions. You saw him play last night. He had a solid stat line, but they don't have any receivers there. And he is putting on the best show as a wide receiver, potentially the team's wide receiver 1. And he's a guy that he hasn't fully broken out, but with the amount of targets and the amount of times they're looking his way, I would definitely give him a shout. And Kenneth Gainwell, he's not necessarily on your waiver wire, but he may be. It's kind of up in the air, but he's a backup running back who's had a nice little production. He's had 51 yards and a touchdown on the ground, 4 receptions for 24. He's just a rookie. He's playing behind Miles Sanders, but he's the number 2 there, and Miles Sanders gets hurt. And he's got really good passing game ability, and he's running between the tackles okay, too. So he's a guy that if you can get on the cheap or, even check your waiver wire and grab him, he's a guy that could help your squad down the road.
Joey, this is going to be a weekly thing, isn't it, my man?
Oh, we're going to have to do it every week, man. You know how it is.
All right, Joey, the people are going to want to see you. Now, we go video now. Can you, right here, right now, can you promise our listeners and viewers that they will get some FaceTime with Joey T this season?
We'll get a little FaceTime. Don't worry.
You can't keep all of that manliness to yourself. You got to show the people at some point, Joey T. You with me on that?
Yes, sir. I'll be there. Don't worry.
All right, look, we're going to do this every week. It's the 2-minute drill. This is Joey T. You can visit him at Capitol Grill, downtown D.C., where he serves up the best steaks, the best seafood, the best hospitality in the service industry right at Capitol Grill, D.C. Ladies and gentlemen, Joey T.
Thank you all very much. Y'all have a good day. Good luck.
All right, thanks, Joey. We'll see you next week, fella.
All right, man. Peace.
Yep. We are back with Take It to Yo with Turner and O'Neill. Thanks for listening and watching as we enjoy meeting you here each week. This segment's partner is Marquise Evans and Keller Williams Capital Properties. Let's get into the college football talk, fellas. Alabama, Florida. Much closer game than I thought, huh, Case?
It was much closer, which, again, SEC is the premier football conference in the country, and Alabama is going to get everybody's best every single game. That's the game that's circled on the calendar, so they're just going to get everyone's best, and they certainly got Florida's best. I still think Alabama is a few leagues ahead of them, but Florida gave it everything that they could, and it's just it makes it more fun to watch. It makes it more exciting. It gets teams kind of fired up for those playoffs, going into December and when they have the college football playoffs, especially for the conference championships. But hey, man, if you're going to bet on anybody, bet on Nick Saban. He'll have those guys, watching the film. And I feel sorry for whoever they play next weekend after getting a 3-point or 2-point win, whatever it was. I think they're just going to pound the next team that they're playing.
Straight going to maul somebody, huh?
Yeah, but they're still clearly the best. And I think Florida certainly deserves to be, in the top 10 or top 12 rankings. I think they're at like 10 or 11 right now for what they did. But look, there were a lot of closer scores with some of those top teams. Like Oklahoma is ranked in the top 4 in the country, and they're squeaking by teams. It's not like they're blowing the doors off everybody. You see what Clemson did; they lost to Georgia, and then they barely beat Georgia Tech. There's some good teams. I think. Well, we'll get into it a little bit. I'll let Steve go.
I'm gonna go back to the Bama game. Mullen has quietly getting Saban's number. I mean, you saw what he did before he came to Florida. He's been one of the one guys who's been able to play him close and tough. And they jumped out 14-0, and then it was like 21 to something, and then they slowed them down. Like he's figured some things out with Bama and Coach Saban, and you have to say he's done it with them. Look at Bama; they different offensive coordinator every of the year.
Right.
Like here's a guy who's been able to make some darn good in-game adjustments against Coach Saban. And he's gonna pick him off sooner or later. But I'm gonna keep saying college football right now, transfer portal, buddy. So
let me ask you a question.
Just telling you right now, other than Bama right now, go look at all the depth charts. They're not the same as they've been. Clemson's an example. Guys are saying right now, I can transfer and play immediately. And what do you think college coaches are doing? They're getting in these kids' DMs and they're saying, hey, you want to play now and get to the league quickly? Or you want to sit down there or sit in one of those places and wait your turn? And kids are realizing, like, you know what? I'm going to go and play. And you're seeing some teams get better in college football because of the transfer portal.
I want to ask you this, and I think this is something we talked about who's underrated in sports. I think this is an underrated trait of the coaches, and you called it out with Mullen, making those adjustments. For example, I saw it this summer with the men's Olympic team, basketball team. Things didn't look so tight. You make adjustments. Obviously, I'm a Lakers fan, but Vogel makes great halftime adjustments. Is this what Mullen is doing? Is he's able to make in-game adjustments maybe better than the next guy?
I think so. I think I don't think he gets probably the credit he deserves as a coach. When you look what he's done everywhere he's been, he has success, and a lot of it is because of his ability. That sometimes he's a little undermanned, but his ability to make adjustments and get his kids to adjust quickly and be able to do it on the fly.
All right. Who looks good but is not getting the credit out there in the college football ranks? I see again. Coach O'Neill, I look down the rankings a little bit. I see Coastal Carolina. Isn't that your team?
Hey, I mean, how could you not get fired up about that squad last year? I don't know if they deserve the credit yet. Let's see if they can sustain this kind of success and continue to do it. In my opinion, I think, look, you could start here locally right now. I mean, the Terps have a ways to go. but the Terps they're undefeated and they're squeezing out. They might make a little bit of noise in the Big Ten this year. I certainly don't think they're in the top 5 or 6 of the Big Ten programs, like the real big hitters, your Wisconsins and Penn States, Ohio States. But another Big Ten team that's certainly started off pretty well and is Michigan. I think Michigan's
yes.
I think
3-0 maybe.
Yeah, they're 3-0. They're making some noise, and you see Notre Dame kind of squeaking out wins, and it's look, a shocking one to me in the rankings is Iowa. I don't know how good Iowa is, but they're in the top 6 or 7 in the different coaches and AP rankings. So it's, again, we talked about NFL last segment and how it's going to play out. And I think you'll see that big time when these college games get more significant. And it's hard to do with these kids to keep them motivated and going. But Steve, you made a great point. With Florida and some of the coaching, these guys get better as the season goes on. They make the right adjustments, and we'll see what happens for sure.
2 teams for me. Penn State showed something the other night.
That's true.
Coming off the season that they had an ugly season with the COVID and all those losses, and people question Franklin. And I think he's showing now, like, look, that was a fluke. Here's who we really are. And his quarterback just keeps getting better and better and better.
Definitely.
And then the other one is to watch over the next 2 weeks, Cincinnati. If Notre Dame goes and wins this week, Notre Dame's got who?
That's a good point right there.
If Notre Dame wins this week, Cincinnati has a chance to beat them play them in 2 weeks. So if they both win this week and then meet the following week, Cincinnati has an opportunity for a statement game. They can go out and beat Notre Dame. That you'd have to start talking about them a little bit. And then they're not the sleeper, but they haven't really had those games yet. They had the one. Nobody's talking about Georgia. Like, don't sleep on them dudes.
I tried to talk about Georgia last week. Coach O'Neill told me don't talk about them like that.
Hey, look, in the APs, they're number 2. I think they're being talked about.
And then I think Oregon will be in the mix because I think they're going to walk through the Pac-12.
What are they, number 4 or 5 maybe?
They're top 4, top 3.
They're 2 or 3 right now. They're 3.
Okay, all right.
They're 3.
But Georgia's too. I mean, I think they're getting plenty of people are talking about him, but I think a lot of the Georgia fans have seen this song and dance many times before. But Coach Kirby, right? They kind of get to this point, and then they got to play that Crimson Tide, or then go in and look. They handle their business against South Carolina, who I don't think is very good. But Steve, you're right about Oregon. I mean, that was a statement to go into Columbus, Ohio, and get that win. And you're right; they're gonna go out to kind of a mediocre Pac-12 and maybe run the table, and maybe we see some different teams in that college playoff. Who knows? Whatever, Casey. For you, and you told me it's Alabama than everyone else, right? Amen. Totally, amen. Until but I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I still wouldn't be surprised if they lost in an upset mid to late season, but are still in the thick of it. I mean, they just got to be smart about the teams that. If that L does happen, because they have their different divisions, they just look. You got to win the SEC championship or get into that final, and you got a great opportunity to be in that Final Four. Look, if Alabama takes an L, someone's got to, from the word go, they got to smack them in the mouth, because it ain't gonna be easy trying to beat Alabama. Man. Talk to me about this. 10, 12 games to go in the MLB. What are we looking like, Coach O'Neill? Hey, I think it's – look, that NL West, we've mentioned it a bunch, the Dodgers and the Giants. I love the AL East. We talk about the Tampa Rays, and then this wild card race between the Yankees and the Red Sox, which I think would make for one of – if those two get into the wild card, the Yankees and the Red Sox, for a one-game play it all, can you imagine the ratings on that for whatever team picks that? If TNT picks that up, man, it's the biggest rankings they've had since like a NBA final or something. Yeah. So, look, baseball playoffs, it's coming down to the wire. I'm certainly bummed that my local team here is just tanked, and they've tanked to like the highest level, not like Oriole level, but to the highest. I'm about to say not as bad as the Orioles, brother. Right. Orioles got like 65, 66 wins, maybe. Oh, baby. I mean, the Nats, I think I heard a stat that in the last 70 games, they're like 20 and 50 or something. Ouch. But here's the thing with, again, they sold the farm, or all the top guys, but Juan Soto is having a second half unlike any other. His on-base percentage is over 50%. it's like 53%. 53% of the time he is getting on base by either walking.
So is he showing off for somebody else?
Hey, Kurtis.
What's up, Coach?
Stop it, please.
O's 48 wins.
48
I said 60, so 48. I mean, how ugly is that? You can literally go 50 and 112 like that.
They have the least amount of wins in the AL.
In the MLB, I think, right?
I think the MLB, but definitely the AL.
Ouch, 48. I mean, Steve, look, you could be first base coach.
The Diamondbacks have 48 also.
All right, Steve, you could be first base coach. Casey, you could be the general manager. I could be the third base coach. We can get 48 wins. I know we can get 48 wins.
We might.
And Krissy could be our umpire. Krissy could be our umpire. She could be our dugout coach. We can get 48 wins. Look, my thought here is what we both know, O'Neal, what we both know, Turner. Ain't it a shame we can't watch the Dodgers and Giants in a World Series game?
I mean, right? Those teams are stacked. They're loaded. It's a huge rivalry. I mean, there's not much better teams than that. But I think we'll see a little diversity in terms of – I'd love to see the Brewers. I felt like the Brewers have gotten like – secondhand for so many years, and the Chicago White Sox making a run at this thing too. I mean, when's the last time you remember seeing them get into the dance? So it's exciting, it's fun. When we're getting to this point, that means we're in the fall. When we're in the fall and all baseball. And Steve's little slope intersect is about to happen. The college basketball, NBA, NHL, baseball, World Series, NFL, college. So there's like that sweet 4 to 6 week period, right, Steve?
Yep. That's the fall, baby. That's why we want to pause the fall.
Yes. I know I'm late to the party, but is it Toronto? They got Vlad Guerrero Jr. maybe? Is that who they have?
Yes.
He's a monster, isn't he?
He's a beast.
He's a straight monster. I'm late to that party, though. Sorry.
Baseball's got something. I mean, you talk about him. You talk about Tatis from the
Lindor. Can I get my Lindor?
Yes. Soto and all these guys all over. I mean, the entire Dodger roster, of course. I mean, baseball has some dudes getting after it. And
is Kershaw any good anymore? I saw him in the dugout the other day. Is he worth anything anymore?
He's good enough, man. I mean, I'd still take him. It's starting a game. I wouldn't say game 7 right now. I'd throw our boy Max Scherzer in there, but no, he's still got a little something, man. He's still got a little something.
And where's Verlander?
He's with the Astros.
Oh well, they're gonna cheat their way to try to get back in. All right,
Real quick. I know the Astros and all the cheat stuff, and they deserve all the hell that they're getting. But man, I do love me some Dusty Baker, and you know what? He took on a train wreck of a situation, but he took it, and I just think Dusty. If it had to be the Astros, I'd feel good for Dusty if they made
because the Nationals shouldn't have let him go. That's why.
Agreed. Right.
We're coming right back with the last round of Sports Talk. DJ Krissy, por favor, poner el botón. Building your brand is an important part of your business growth. By advertising with Take a TO with Turner and O'Neal, you'll gain the exposure and brand recognition behind our podcast. From season to season, we retain 92% of our advertisers. With category exclusivity, your business will benefit from our popularity online and during the podcast. Advertising with Turner and O'Neal equals exposure on Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, and more than 15 listening platforms total. Inquire today and let's partner to build your brand.
At Peace Players, we use the power of sport to unite, educate, and inspire young people to create a more peaceful world. We offer support programming, peace education, and leadership development to those living in communities in conflict. We challenge the hate that is driven by the fear of our differences. We bridge divides between people through the game of basketball, and we develop young leaders who help to change perceptions. Find out more at www.peaceplayers.org.
This segment of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neal is sponsored by
Insurance Alliance Group manages the gap between damage appraisal estimates from your insurance company and what you are rightfully owed based on your policy. They work on behalf of policyholders with claim assistance and disputes to maximize claims. Insurance Alliance Group serves as professional advisors and trusted advocates. The Insurance Alliance Group handles business and home property loss. Request a free claim review with the property loss professionals. Insurance Alliance Group. Visit us at insurancealliancegroup.com or call 866-574-4773.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It to You with Turner and O'Neill.
Welcome back to Take It to You with Turner and O'Neill. This segment's partner is the Insurance Alliance Group, LLC. Paul Rabil calls it a career, sir.
Coach T, I'm going to let you start this one, buddy.
I'm going Clemson with you, baby. Let's go.
Come on. That's a good-looking hat, man. Go Tigers.
Let's go. Man, that's a tough one to watch him walk away. This dude has done it for so long and at such a high level. And you know, he did come from Madison Street, but I have the utmost respect for him. Always cordial enough to speak when I see him, and just he's gonna be missed from the game. But we know he's gonna continue to build the game, and I think that's the exciting thing is that the game of lacrosse really has some ambassadors who walked away. You know, you got to know Kyle Harrison's still going to be involved. Of course, Paul will definitely be involved, and those guys will help this game just continue to grow as it's been the fastest growing game I've seen in my lifetime. Hats off to him, and kudos to what's going to be next in his life and in his career. And I just hope that he will continue to do what he does and grow the game in the way that he's done it. And God damn it, Paul, it's time for you to come on our show.
Can I say it first? I'm like, if he's got time, one notch he doesn't have on his belt is he hasn't been on our show. So maybe he has time to come take it to you with Turner and O'Neill sometime.
Yeah.
You know, I got a story back in, I think it was 2001, 2002. I was running the Purple Eagle lacrosse camp, and a young fella came down and talked to myself and Coach Battle, Andrew Battle, who's been my co-director in that camp for so many years. And he said, can I come and be a counselor at your camp? And little did we know what this young man would turn out to be. And it was Paul Rabil. And he helped out. He was a great counselor for the week and just did an awesome job. And then fast forward a year or two later, and it was the first time I myself as a head coach had been assistant coach, had been in a championship since I played for Gonzaga. And we watched Paul Rabil as a youngster, you know, take it to us, and we ended up losing in overtime. We had a 3-goal lead in the fourth quarter, and Paul put that team on his back and as a youngster. And you know, you're talking long time ago. And then watching, yes,
I'm going to cut you off. That was the game at Blair, correct?
Yeah, it was a game.
That was a hell of a game.
It was an unbelievable game, and we had you know, we just had a momentum going into that game and weren't supposed to win it. DeMatha was stacked, and sure enough, we had a lead, and those guys with Paul Rabil, young sophomore Paul Rabil, came back and you know, it led them to an overtime championship. And then you watch his career at Hopkins and a couple national championships, and then all in the pros. And I think the coolest thing that he's doing, and I agree with you, Steve, hats off, incredible playing career and gave it his all. Outside of starting the PLL with his brother, what he's doing now in this next venture, and he's calling it Goals Across America. And what he's doing is legitimately starting a program where every state, all 50 states, they're putting money towards putting goals in every rec center, every park, all across America. We're talking South Dakota, Hawaii, Alaska, wherever it is. You go to a park, you see a soccer goal, you see a basketball hoop, right? You see a backstop for baseball. And he's like, what you don't see, you might in Long Island or somewhere in Baltimore and in you know, Annapolis area, you'll see some lacrosse goals. And that's his goal. He wants kids as they grow up to see a lacrosse goal, walk out on a field and have a stick and be able to just shoot and have access to ones at all times.
We don't talk about his brother very much. Does his brother play as well?
His brother played growing up. I couldn't tell you whether he played in college or not. I just think that family's very tight. Most of the people we interview on the show talk about that support system, whether they're Olympic athletes or if they're the number one basketball recruits in the country. You know, these young ladies or top football players, whatever it is, that support system at home. And I think the Rabil family, from his dad and his mom and his brother and his sister, like the whole family is just super tight and kind of surrounded Paul and his brother to help them to grow this.
Out of curiosity, totally not off subject technically, but where did he grow up? He went to DM, but where did he, was he in Montgomery County, DC, Virginia?
Yeah, no, he grew up in the Darnestown area. I want to say he went to Watkins Mill his freshman year.
He did.
And,
okay.
And I think his first love was either football or soccer, and was hoops? It was hoops, right, Coach T? And ended up going to DeMatha and making that commute from Darnestown to DeMatha, and sure enough, just kind of worked and cared harder than most. He's physically gifted, but he also works at it. I mean, and trains. So
you know what? That's my mistake. I could ask these questions when we get him on the show, right?
I remember Mike telling me a story that Paul would tease him a lot, like walk through a gym and pick up a ball and go dunk it.
Oh man!
but just would never play because he was just so into lacrosse.
All right, so Paul Rabil calls it a career. He is, I think he's more than an ambassador for the game. I mean, he is the PLL, and we got a lot of good PLL stuff to look forward to. My most exciting thing about the PLL was that we got to watch it on a major network in HD on a Sunday. And, obviously they're not going to compete with the NFL just yet. Who knows? But we were able to watch some good lacrosse on a Sunday. And for the past several weeks, obviously, and throughout the season, I know it's a short season, but they have some good media agreements where we get to watch. Now I'm going to turn the corner. Just 8 days, baby. Just 8 days, baby. Training camp starts, baby. The NBA is going to be back. And I am nothing but happy about it. I don't know what the heck the Lake Show is going to look like because we got a bunch of 1-year guys who probably average 37 years in age, but we're going to try to get Carmelo a ring.
Well, your 7-footer, Mr.
Just
Anthony,
got married, didn't he?
Singing, was it Boys to Men? Boys to Men, a New Edition, serenading his wife.
Right.
So, I think he's focused and ready to go. Everyone's going to talk LeBron. Right. AD's the key.
Yeah.
A healthy AD is going to be the key for the Lakers to go to get the ring this year if they want to do that. I know they've stacked with a lot of guys. Westbrook's going to have to take a back seat and be comfortable with that. If he does that's another huge point. But I think those are the two biggest keys for the Lakers, in my opinion.
Good Lord, that's going to be an entertaining team to watch, man.
Anthony Davis has got to tighten up his belt, and he's got to get a little bit mean. He's got to get a little bit mean.
He has it in him because he's shown it. Like I said, I would like to just see him start from the block, from the mid post, before he steps aside. Every game that he has done that, they've been at their best.
Don't get me started.
And if he does that what he has now is if he starts there and sets the tone from the start of the game, they've brought in pieces now that he will be able to stretch out and get to that 4th spot and shoot some of those jumpers he wants to shoot. But he has to decide that from the jump, I'm going in the post and I'm going to dominate and then move out.
Right. You know what? I'll stop you when you're wrong, sir. Coach Casey O'Neill, what are you looking forward to? I know you're a Wizards fan. I don't know if there's much to look at down there at the we used to call it the phone booth.
The phone booth, F Street. Just you saying that NBA is starting, camp in 8 days just blows my mind because I feel like we were just watching the crazy, what is it, Buck Nation or Deer District and watching the Bucks,
Deer Park or something.
When that NBA final and just the season that the Suns had, and it just blows my mind how fast time is going. And you said it earlier. This is a great time. You got NBA rolling here in this fall and NHL picking up and college football and NFL and just so much is going on. Hey, we got the Ryder Cup coming up, golf too as well. So there's a lot of fun stuff that's happening.
Now they have to pick those teams, or someone picks those teams, right?
Yeah, the captains,
yeah.
Select, and I couldn't tell you off the top of my head who the captains are for them. I could quickly look it up, but NBA, I wish, going into the Wizards, starting out, they can have little pockets of getting hot in the middle of the season or late season, but historically they've never started out hot whatsoever. So it's a new look. There's a couple younger guys. I think they'll be decent. I mean, I think the question is who's going to challenge those teams out west? Who's going to be? Can the Bucks sustain that success that they just had?
I think so.
I'm throwing it right back at you guys.
I think so. And for the Wizards, a healthy Thomas Bryant is definitely going to help.
Yeah, I wouldn't put all my eggs into the Thomas Bryant basket, but it makes help. It definitely does. They got a defensive-minded coach, something we haven't seen in Washington in 30 years since maybe they won
That's
the
going to get
78
old
championship.
quick with that group.
Yeah, that's
Coach Turner.
Hey, your captains look like it's Stryker and Harrington.
Okay.
The Wiz, man, they are who they are. I do believe that they'll be a little funner to watch though, because they got some pieces from the Lakers.
Right.
Certainly not enough to compete and push for a championship. I mean, who knows if they even make the playoffs? But I do believe they got some guys. Like if they decide to finally build the right way, they have some pieces in place.
They got KCP. They got Kuz.
I mean, Kuz is actually working out right here in the Rockville area.
Okay.
It's a place called ProFit, brand new facility, and it's pretty nice. But I've seen him on the gram almost every day over there working out. It's a young man, Julian Vaughn, played here with the DC Assault AAU program, played in college, and he's back. Has built his new gym, and Kuz has pretty much been over there every day working out. So it's good to see that, because he's gonna have to definitely step up and be a wingman to Mr. Beal.
A starting wingman, yeah.
And my thoughts real quick on the teams with the most pressure in this early season has got to be the Sixers and the Nets. It has to be.
Right.
Those two organizations in the East are.
The Sixers got it. The Sixers got a shit show going on though. So I feel bad. I feel bad.
Pressure.
I feel bad for them. I don't know if it's pressure. Like how are you going to convince a guy to play for you that doesn't want to be there anymore because you guys are kind of shitted on him.
Right.
And then Brooklyn guys stay healthy. Like they stay healthy. Woo.
It'll be. We'll see what I feel like. The Lakers Brooklyn open up.
I will be rocking under the bridge because I'm going up there to see some games.
I
need my tickets, brother.
Yeah, David is up there. It'll be exciting to watch the Lakers, of course. I'll be interested to see what the Knicks can do. The Knicks surprised us last year. I'll be interested to see what they can do. Don't forget, the Miami Heat got a lot better.
They sure did.
It's gonna be fun.
Chicago got better. Teams have gotten better. So we'll see what they can do. And Atlanta's kind of just fair to middling. I don't think Atlanta can make too much more noise than what they already made. But we'll see out in the West. I don't know what the heck's going on. Houston ain't going to be any good. Sacramento ain't going to be good. I guess Denver and Utah, Phoenix, Lakers. What are the Spurs going to do? The Spurs have been on cruise control in that gray area for a while now.
Gotta also see how my man comes back from injury. Oh goodness, boy from Kentucky.
Mitchell?
No, not Mitchell.
You're getting me. The knee, right?
Hurt his leg. Yeah.
Yeah, in the playoffs. I can't call it out right. Not Donovan Mitchell. Devin Booker, not Booker.
Nah, not Booker. Oh,
I can't recall who it was. But now we got the NHL. They dropped the puck in less than a month. Are we talking Tampa again? What are we talking?
It's Tampa's world, and we're all just kind of skating around.
Skating in it.
Yeah, just skating in it. And hopefully, obviously, again, the local flavor here and the Caps, and they did that extension with Ovechkin, and the crew can kind of get back to that inner 2018 just nastiness they had, because they implored their dominance on the Lightning that year. Lightning was a more talented team, but it's Tampa. And then obviously there's, Colorado's got a great team. You see some young teams up in Canada, whether it's Toronto or Montreal, the run they had last year, and they'll get back to what is normal, kind of playing the regular schedule. And from what I heard, it's not going to be the same brackets that they sort of had, or regions
right.
that they're.
Well, I looked up some stuff today. Jamal Murray, by the way, Steve, I looked it up.
Oh,
look at Jamal Murray. Yeah, my disappointment in the NHL is we're less than a month away from starting, and they haven't even named when training camp is going to start. It's going to start sometime around mid-September. Well, hell, we're in the last 10 days of September now, so I'd like them to get that part under control. And to speak to what you said, Casey, you feel like you just saw the Deer District doing their thing. Remember, we had to have this shorter offseason now to get it back on schedule.
Correct.
So we're not starting in December. So that's why it snuck up on us.
The hockey hockey's not going back into that bubble, right?
No,
not the bubble. And then they had there's sort of the regions. So
the region brackets,
Canadian Canadian squads and the West Coast and all that. So
that made for good playoffs, right? You don't see these teams and now all of a sudden.
I thought it was definitely cool. And then you saw towards the end of the playoff run, different areas that kind of getting closer to packed arenas. And, as you always say, Coach Turner, like, just don't mess it up for my season. It's nobody mess it up for my season. Let's just be smart about it.
I hope everyone's going to be smart about it. We're looking forward. We're going to call it the slope intersect, where all these sports come together. So right around mid-October, Coach, is when you're going to see everything come together. You're going to see some World Series action. The World Series is only there for a hot minute, but you're still getting NBA. You're still getting NHL, college football, pro football. It's college basketball. Sorry, I don't think I said that. So we got all that coming up, and that transfer portal will be interesting.
And November 8th, baby.
What we got? That's when you tip off?
Yes, sir.
All right. Can I get some Purple Eagle madness?
We're trying to figure out if they're going to let us.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, I will tell you this. In our business, every single school who has booked us for a homecoming has moved outdoors. Their homecoming must be outdoors. So that's going to look a little bit different. That's going to look a little bit different for us.
Hoops Mania outside, night lights.
I got sound, and I got Cold Spark. I got Cold Spark. We can do some things.
Let's get it in.
All right, let's go to our last break, and we'll be back with the final word. Connect with us socially on Instagram and Facebook at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn-On Podcast, on YouTube, just search Turner and O'Neill, then subscribe. And of course, you can visit our website at www.turnerando'neill.com.
Become a friend of the program. Friendship contributions start at just $25. Each contribution helps to fuel Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. To find out more or make your contribution, go to www.turnerando'neill.com and click Become a Friend.
The final word is brought to you by Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Call 301-761-2278 or visit raypcruz.com. Ray P. Cruz, mortgages intelligently.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill.
Ladies and gentlemen, looks like the Green Bay Packers are going to get that first win. There's 8 minutes and some change left. They are up by 18, I believe, and Mr. Rogers is back on the field. Let's wrap this baby up. We invite you to become a friend of the program. To do so, go to www.turnerando'neill.com and click Become a Friend. Thomas Alford, Melissa Alshab, Margie Billings, Adam Cross, Chelsea Cross, Paula Cross, Lynn Johnson, Erica O'Neill, Justin O'Neill, Sean Parker, Amy, Dan, Noah, and Ellie Richard, Kathleen Talbot, Andrea Taronis, and Timothy Whittier. They can all tell you they're friends of the program, and it feels so darn good. Become a donor, sponsor, or partner by visiting www.turnerando'neill.com and click Media Kit. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube by simply going to turnerando'neill.com and just click any of the social media icons. Coach O'Neill, if they don't know this stuff by now, they're just not paying attention because we make it obvious, right? Become a friend, like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, do all that stuff. I know Erica. Is Erica a subscriber? I'm just asking.
Big time.
All right, just got to know. All right, we want to, before we sign off, thanks to our listeners and viewers. This podcast is fueled by you, and we appreciate your support. Thanks to DJ Krissy. She's across from me. She's our engineer who makes us sound good and look good each week. Krissy, for old time's sake, one last time so we can see the Steve Turner face. Can we get the womp, womp, womp? Can we get it, Krissy? Come on. Krissy got to dial it up. Where's it at, Krissy? All right. Thanks to you, DJ Krissy, for all you do. Coach O'Neill, your final thoughts, sir.
Look, it's great to see everybody here on a Monday night, obviously from the comfort of our homes. But sometimes it's fun to just chop it up, talk sports, talk life, and enjoy it. And, we mentioned Winsight Media, who is a partner sponsor of ours. That community, that family of Winsight Media had a very beyond next level devastating news in the past week. And I just wanted, they know who they are, send my prayers and thoughts to them and that we love them. And if they need anything, they can always just reach out and call. So I just wanted to make that quick announcement, and that we love Winsight Media and we love the folks over there, and our prayers are with you.
Big time.
All right. DJ Krissy, your final thoughts, young lady.
It was great to be here, excuse me, with everybody here for Mental Health Monday, getting back into the show. Just a lot of fun hearing about everything that's going on in the sports world.
All right. My final thoughts. Appreciate you guys being here, putting it together, accommodating my schedule so we can do this from home tonight. We love that you were able to do that. Not the same as having you guys in here, but that's okay. Coach Turner, we want you to refuel by next Monday so we can have the chipper Coach Turner in here, and we'll see what happens next week. We'll find us a guest. We're going to do something important or something special for y'all next week. So that is my final word. Thank you to you three fine folks. Coach Turner, the floor and the quote are yours.
It's crazy. Like we've been on this hour 30, and I'm actually feeling better. So
good.
I've actually started feeling better as the show's going on. So thank you guys for giving me a little juice here on this Mental Health Monday. I didn't get to say it because we cut into a commercial break, but DC was rocking this weekend, and especially at Audi Field. You had the Howard Hampton game there, the PLL. Like business down in that area had to have been thriving hard this past weekend.
Good, they need it.
And that sounds like all those restaurants were getting hit pretty hard, which is great for the community.
DC Half Marathon was on.
Yeah, DC Half Marathon. Yep. How about that?
I missed it again. I didn't register. Y'all didn't. I thought y'all were gonna register me for that.
We were training and everything.
Right.
We get you on the next one.
All right, thanks, man. Got me.
But I just thought I'd bring that up because I thought it's pretty cool to see, some normalcy. Like we've been wishing for this for a long time. I'm anxious and excited. I'm, also fingers crossed and toes crossed and in deep prayer every day that November 8th will really come and I'll get an opportunity to start having, a meaningful practice with my guys. And it's been exciting to be back in the gym with them and have an open gym and workouts and them in the weight room and just seeing them push hard and a couple guys committing. And I think we're going to have a couple more coming sooner rather than later. And so Coach Turner's getting in a good place and it's been great to do it, share it with you guys.
By the way, Coach Turner, we are 60-some episodes in, just for the record.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I look on my Facebook and I see stuff where we were advertising last summer, trying to get this thing going in my memories. I'm like, dude, that was so like last year,
It's true. My quote today is kind of about the naysayer, so to speak, or the person who's always, I can't, or things don't happen for me. So the quote goes, the individual who says it's not possible should move out of the way of those doing it. If you don't feel like you can do it, shut up about it. Just get out the way.
Get out the way, right? All right, DJ Krissy, pull the plug.
Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill would like to thank our advertisers, our premier partner, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage, our partners, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, Insurance Alliance Group, LLC, Marquise Evans of Keller Williams Capital Properties, our sponsors, O'Neill Development, LLC, Next Level Lacrosse, A Squared Home and Office Solutions, Collins Funeral Home, and Peace Players International, and our donors, Winsight Media and Gene the Barber, now Max Life Barber and Salon. Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill is produced by Kurtis Cross and engineered by DJ Krissy. All material is the exclusive property of the podcast and may not be copied, rebroadcast, or used in any way without the written consent of the podcast. The views, ideas, and commentary of podcast guests are solely their own and not necessarily endorsed by the podcast. You may submit questions, podcast ideas, and commentary to turnero'neillpodcast@gmail.com. No compensation is offered for submitted material. Should we choose to use your idea, comment, or question, you agree to your likeness, social media identity, and/or information being used on the podcast. Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is recorded weekly and distributed via Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and more than 15 podcast platforms in total. You can also view Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill weekly on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest episode drops. Some portions of the podcast may be pre-recorded. Join us socially on Facebook and Instagram at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, and on YouTube. Search Turner and O'Neill and subscribe. Our website is www.turnerando'neill.com. Advertising opportunities are available.